So on the second one, we've got a situation where the company is going to pay the relocation costs. We get a benefit of not negotiating seller paid closing costs. And we know some of the critical parts of the contract. They're just barely getting there on the price, but we can take other things on the seller's side to compensate for the price. A better closing date, possibly be a little tighter on repairs, things of this nature. So on the first one, no exchange of information. Going to be win-lose. Pull back all your information. Play your cards close to your vest. In the event that you're doing the second one, you share some information, find out which parts are the most critical for each one of the people, and give them their most critical parts so that they can gain that way. Don't have much time for the next 2 points in the slide. Ask open questions. Who, what, where, when, why. So then the other party can expound. Don't ask closed questions where they just do yes and no. And when you are negotiating with people, and this can be an entire subject, so we'll just touch on it, you use what I call the platinum rule. The golden rule is you treat other people the way you want to be treated. The platinum rule is you treat them the way they want to be treated. You communicate with them based on their personality type and the way that they think. Whole subject in its own, wonderful courses that are offered on that particular subject, but let's move on to the next point, because let's pause right here. Who do you think chooses which way you negotiate? Okay, how many think you, as the grand negotiator, you get to influence the outcome and you are the one that gets to pick? Okay, okay. And how many people think it's the other party, your counterpart, that gets to choose? And now we'll wait for those of you that can't reach it. There we go. Okay. Well, those that think the counterpart chooses are correct. Good analogy is dancing. If you're dancing with somebody who doesn't dance well, and they step all over your feet, you're going to have to adjust. If you're instead dancing with a highly professional dancer, then you can be a little bit more exotic and you can have a little bit better time together. So you adapt to their style. Some people think, oh, but I can change them. You can hope. And if they're sophisticated, you might discuss it. But realistically, people have a default style. They resort to that default style. You find out what that style is, and you adapt to their style. Now, this is a lot of theory. Let's just apply it in a particular situation. I've found my students remember stories. A concept is good, but you can apply, you're going to remember Sam and Richard, Samantha and Richard. And first time through, it's going to be collaborative or cooperative. And we're selling their house, and I sit down with Sam and Richard, and Sam says the biggest thing to her is when that house that's being built is finished, she wants to have her house sold, preferably closed. Doesn't want to be paying 2 mortgages. Oh my God, I'd be dropping the price like crazy just to get it sold, to take that 2 mortgage paying off her back. Second thing, she's an artist. Really important that she has her artist studio with a lot of light. So moving to temporary housing is kind of difficult. So a big value is being able to stay in the property, but get it closed. Get a gentleman who makes an offer through a wonderful agent, and we get to talking. The initial point, the very first thing I see on the offer is, ooh, it's low. It's back in 2010. We were happy to have offers in 2010. The balance in the marketplace favored the buyers. So, what do we do? I want to find out all the other points. This gentleman lives in New Jersey, is going to be moving down here in the future. Right now, he just wants to get a great price on a house while the prices are low. Hang on to it. Eventually, he'll move into it. So he doesn't want just a rental. He wants a house he loves. But he wants to save his place. Perfect. So I can then satisfy Sam and Richard's interests. So we give them a counteroffer that is a little bit flexible on the price, but we say we want to rent it back after we close it soon. In other words, we want to see that he's got the money. We want the peace of mind that we're finishing the other house with the money in our pocket. Don't want to have to move twice. And give him a fairly good price, but we make up for it on the rental. Because from his standpoint, if he takes it and they move out, he's got to fix it up. He might be vacant. He can afford to move the price down. Also, Sam and Richard don't have to move twice. They don't have to put things in storage. So we've got a lot of different things where the sellers can gain by not moving twice. The buyer can gain by having a good price, and he can also gain by having good people in there. Even though they're paying him less, they're going to take good care of it. Great deal, closes very gracefully. Everybody's happy at the closing table. Cooperative. Now, let's try it again. Competitive. Offer comes in. I look at the price. Whoa! You got to do better than that. Normal flinch. And I get a response saying, whoa, hey, you know, it's 2010, what do you expect? You know, it's a buyer's market. He's got the one who's got the power. He can dictate it. Well, tell me a little bit about him. Well, you know, he wants a really good deal. Anything else? No, that's the price. You know, really good, great opportunity for you to have that price. Okay, fine. Go to Sam and Richard. Well, I've got this guy, here's the price. We give him a counter offer that's real close to the price. Hand it back to them because all we're doing is negotiating the position. The buyer goes, what? If you're only going to come off that much, yeah, forget it. Walks. We have something that if you know the true issues, you can put a great deal together. When you only know the positions, you don't put any deal together. That is the difference. And collaborative negotiating takes a bit more work and is a lot more effort. But in this situation, we get a much better deal. So let's go over what we learned today. And those of you that are taking notes, you can finalize some of these things, and those of you that want to compare to your own experience, feel free to ask me either now or after class about how your experiences in negotiating differ from mine. We've gone through the what of what we're going to talk about, and you've got all of those things. And hopefully you've learned why. Because look at the difference for Sam and Richard. You put a deal together and everybody's happy, versus you get nothing. And how much commission do you make when it doesn't close? Yeah, okay, good. So the very first thing that you do, determine what style you're going to negotiate. Compete or cooperate. Test that out. There's a wonderful song, Sweet Seasons by Carole King. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, most times you choose between the two. Put that in your head to help you remember it. Some mnemonics are a lot simpler if you can relate it to something. Well, change it a little bit. Sometimes you win-win and sometimes you win-lose, and most times you choose between the two. So that's what this class is all about. Test your counterpart. Offer a little bit of information and see what happens. Are they going to collaborate? Are they going to share? Or are they going to clam up? Then you adapt to them. You might try to change them, but it frequently ends up in a disaster. And then I hope you've learned from this class that cooperation takes a lot more effort. You have to find issues. You have to ask better questions. You have to be a lot more open to discussion. But you get a lot better deals. So thank you very much.